Good evening and welcome to the School of Hip Hop. I'm your host, your local Lady Woo. This is the lovely school board and our special guest for tonight. School board, introduce yourselves.
Shilmata.
Black.
Tremalia McCarroll.
Marco B in the building.
Sid.
KJ.
Eric.
And our special guest for tonight, we'll start right here.
Clarence Muhammad.
Special guest?
Jamal Muhammad.
Washington Booker.
Councilman Jay Roberson.
Thank you. Thank you all for being a part of this show. Tonight we're talking about a very, very serious topic. Very serious topic. I want to give you an introduction, see if you can kind of figure out what we're talking about. Polar and panda bears. No relation? Y'all know anything about them?
Polar and panda bear.
Polar and panda bears?
Ain't two different species.
Of bears, okay.
They
Hold
not-
that. Hold
Well,
that.
actually, I think.
Don't get all technical. Hold that. Wild goats. Y'all know about wild goats? What about a bearded screech owl?
I've got a beard.
The screech owl.
In Alabama, you have bats, manatees, armed snails, turtles. That's only a few of 107, right? But all over the world you have Jarvis, you have Damien, you have Alfonso, you have Rashad, DeMarcus, Terry, Tavares,
Jamal.
DeMarco, Kelvin,
Well,
Jay. You got a lot of little J's.
Willie.
You got Cedric, definitely Willie and James and Earl. All of these are endangered species. What are they?
Black men.
Black men. That's what we're talking about. Endangered species. Now that's kind of heavy, but that's what it is. I want to first know how does it feel to be a black man. I've never been a man. I'm only black. So how does it feel to be a black man?
Pressure.
That's a great
Good
word.
word.
Good word. Good word.
Pressure. Why?
Well, you have a stereotype hanging over your head, but you also have a 400 years of baggage that is dragging behind that you're trying to shrug off.
Okay.
And you're really trying to be a man in a situation where no one wants you to be that. When you've been told that, hey, in order for you to survive and be a family man, you have to leave your family and let the woman do her own thing, and you can't be there to support her.
Interesting. So pressure, because of all of that right there.
And that, anytime a people are in bondage or colonized or are being ruled over by another group of people, it is the job of every male to seek, fight for, scheme, work for their freedom and independence.
Okay.
And that's a huge burden. But that's the burden that every black man born in America is born with.
So when you all are born, you don't know it just right off, but you learn it soon that being a black man is hard. Is that true?
I look at it differently.
Okay.
In a sense. I understand the sense of oppression and bondage that's being talked about. But I also look at it as a sense of motivation.
Okay.
To be able to prove those that don't think we can be successful, that we can. And to break barriers that we are not privy to having and exceeding, as we have with our President of the United States. So I think that's a sense of motivation, also being a black man.
Okay. So you, motivation,
I think
pressure.
That beyond that, to prove, well, I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I don't think we as black men, that's part of the pressure you was talking about. We don't have to prove nothing to nobody. The only somebody we need to prove something to is each other. And that is that we can come work together and get our people out of this.
Well,
That
that's
is
the
the
hardest
problem.
thing.
That's the problem.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's the number one problem right there. We are trying to prove something. That's why you have black men killing black men, because I'm trying to prove that I'm more man than you. That's why I killed you. See, they fighting over trying to, I'm a man, and this is the only way I can prove that I'm a man is that I can do something to you. So you kill things you don't understand that you're afraid of.
Hold that for me. Hold that. It's a man's world. That's a song. Only a song. If so, why is it so hard for men of color if it's a man's world?
Well, it's hard for certain men of color. When you have a comfortable Negro, the lighter skinned black with the good hair, that can fit in white society. So, they have it a lot easier than darker skinned.
Is that true?
I disagree.
Is it any easier?
I disagree, and I think that's a
A stereotype.
a stereotype and interracial.
It's racist.
debate. But that was presented, I know what Booker's about to go with it. That was presented back in those 400 years of bondage and slavery, when we were brought up as having a field Negro and a house Negro. So that's stereotypical.
So that jealousy still lingers, huh?
Oh yes, definitely.
Are you jealous?
No, I'm not jealous.
Our bondage is a very, very complicated kind of bondage. We're not only under a financial kind of bondage, we are under an intellectual and spiritual kind of bondage because of our socialization into America. The way we were brought into America, and we had all our old morals and folkways and erased, and we were given new ones that would make us better slaves. And we are still in a struggle to this day. Part of our struggle is to identify ourselves and set our goals, is to realize that we ain't what nobody else defined us as being. So, and searching for and finding out who we really are.
Okay.
And getting out of that harm that, like what the brother name? He wasn't no brother. Willie Lynch.
Okay,
Right, getting out of that harm.
Okay,
Yeah.
right here, and then right here.
I just wanted to come in on what the brother was saying, and then Jay about the dark skin, light skin thing. I deal with a congregation of people. I grew up, of course, as a dark skinned male.
Okay.
And you know, you grow up and you hear jokes, and it seems a little harder as a dark skinned person. But as I do what I do now and counsel people, and I have light skinned people, dark skinned people in the congregation, and I meet light skinned people, and I listen to their story. They say they had it harder because they were light skinned.
Right, honestly,
So,
I
but I
think
think-
the medium brown ones of us probably had it the easiest. Because we right in between.
But look, what I'm saying is that's a problem. That's a problem within the race. But when it comes to the outer, to America, it is easier.
True. Okay.
I wouldn't say easier, but I would say they look at a lighter skinned person that's closer to them.
Okay.
And
So
more
then-
accepting and less threatening.
Okay.
But that's not his fault. That's
No,
the
not at all.
situation he found himself in.
Exactly.
He didn't create that situation. He don't necessarily even embrace it. It's part of the divisiveness that America uses to keep us separated.
Right.
So when it comes to us, we have to accept each other.
As a black man, I feel promised. You know, see what Obama, and you see us woven into the fabric of society. But in response to what you're talking about, a black man as endangered species, when you look at Alexander the Great, the Greeks, the Romans, and on down in history, and when anybody conquers, the first object of the conquer when you come into a nation is you go after the man. You kill off as many men as you possibly can.
Okay.
Then you go after the women, and then they start putting their seed in the women and reproducing themselves. That's why we got so many shades. So it's not a pattern that just started in slavery time. It's been going anytime a conqueror comes in. And so I think that we have to be cognizant. I feel good. I feel like as a black man, I'm being healed. I'm getting growing past all those issues, but we're in a state of a social war that we're not aware of, because the black man through media, through TV, through entertainment, through the internet is always the object, the source of a sore. You know, he's a person that's always negative. Black women always talk about that.
Amen.
White people always
You're
talk
right.
about it negative. And so it's up to us as black men. We have to recreate that image, and that recreate that image. Just take it back to the community.
I'm going to touch you because you all on my cards. Marco?
Way I look at it, I don't think it's an issue of like a dark-skinned Negro or light-skinned Negro.
Right.
The issue is just support. What kind of support that man had, period. That is not even with a black man. Just the period, if they had a mom that support them, or how they use that support. Because a lot of people have support. You'll find people, they buy PlayStation games for them, have given the best education, everything, but they still turn out to be the same gangsters the guys was that didn't have it.
Right.
It's just how you receive that support that you growed up, how you take your opportunities. Do you use your opportunities to the best of your ability?
Okay, so that would say that basically Caucasians and other humans had it easier. That's what that would say. Wait a minute, hold on. I want each man, because I asked this question and again I only got 2 words or 2 answers. How is it being a black man? What is your personal opinion as far as being a black man? I need that quickly from each man.
I would say powerful.
Okay, well go ahead.
I would say powerful because it wouldn't be we wouldn't be such a big threat if they didn't see something that we had in us. So I would say black man. I feel powerful in what I do as being a black man.
Okay.
Joy and pain.
Joe. Okay.
Sunshine and rain.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all
That's
it.
it. It's all of that. It's all of that.
Okay.
I have to say hard work, because it's a lot of things and a lot of, you know, when you're talking about the pressure and talking about wanting to excel and prove a lot of the negative stereotypes wrong, then you know you have to fight and work hard, because I went to a predominantly white school, and so a lot of things I had to do, I had to be on 2 times on top of my game than my white counterparts, because I knew they were looking at me like, oh no, we ain't counting on him to do nothing anyway.
All right.
But that's a trick too. You get the work in it there.
I would say for me, I'm gonna kind of vibe off what Booker says. I'll say, he said joy and pain. I say struggle and admiration. And why I say struggle and admiration is obstacles that are already set up and it's kind of structured into the whole American system on one end. But as an awakened black man, knowing who I am, knowing my last name is Muhammad, knowing that black people are original folk, when I interact with white folks, when I interact with Latinos and people of other culture and other religion, they have a deep respect for me, and many of them want to be like me because I'm confident in being a black man in America and knowing who I am. So they love me.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel threatened, and I feel threatening. I feel pressure, and I feel power. So I feel it on both
I
sides.
feel cautious.
Cautious.
Yeah, because because I'm black, there's certain ways I gotta do certain things. You know,
I can take that. Women. How is it dealing with and understanding black men?
Great question.
Difficult.
Okay.
Frustrating.
Okay.
A learning lesson every day.
What would you say is the biggest issue with black men? And I'm almost certain that neither of you have dated another race of man. Not seriously anyway, huh? Okay. Okay. So for those of you, well, basically, all 3 of your fathers are African American men, right?
Right.
So with that being the case, and you seeing your mother, and then you seeing that relationship, and then you dealing with black men, not only in relationships, but at work, seeing black men in church, black men around you, social settings. What is your opinion?
Excuses are stepping stones to failure, which amount to monuments of nothingness. They have more, not all black men, but the majority of them have a lot of excuses on why they can't do this, or why they can't find a job, or why they can't do this, or that. And I understand the struggle and slavery, but my people went through the same thing your people went through as well.
Among Americans, 9% are unemployed, 16% black folk are unemployed. Among young people, 18% white young folk are unemployed, 20% of Hispanics are unemployed, and 30% of black folk are unemployed. We've been going through this ever since they angrily released us from slavery. The system may be doing it accidentally, but it always manages to undermine and disempower us. And we do have to struggle. And we do look for jobs. And I know brothers who stop me every day. Mr. Booker, you got to work. Anybody who, brothers do want to work.
Where are they?
So,
that's the question for the women. Where are they?
But the jobs are not there.
So it's not the men, it's the jobs that aren't available.
When a brother say he's been looking for a job, believe him, he's been looking for one. Because it ain't out there. It ain't out there.
See, it's men or black people as a general, but especially men, to learn how to work your way up. You're not going to start off as the manager. You do start out cooking some french fries, bagging some groceries, helping an old lady across the street first. You're not just going to jump up and just be all over on top of everybody. Don't nobody owe you nothing.
A little Hispanic boy got that job, bagging them groceries and
that's another
flipping them
problem. We
hamburgers.
gotta come back to that though.
That's another thing. But then it's also how you carry yourself in an interview. Your pants hanging down here and you still speaking slang and not proper English is not going to get you a
So
job.
hold on, before
Yeah,
we
but every young black man
go
go in and look for a job.
before we go any
like
further,
that.
look at what we are. So we have one side talking about what we had when we were slaves, when we came over, and we have another half talking about where we are now. What's more important at this point?
The 30% unemployment that black people suffer,
The statistics show
above that young black people suffer, the 16% above the 9% unemployment that black people suffer. Our major problem is that I can halfway agree with her. Our problem is that we supposed to be hiring them young black boys. See, we have to figure out how to employ our own. We have to start spending our dollar in our community, and we have to boycott some of these Arabs and make them turn their businesses over to black folk, or they ain't gonna make no money. And when we come together, we can get it done.
Listen to this. I'm gonna come back to the women after this. Why are our men living up to the stereotypes of uneducated, drug addicted, street corner on the block, baby daddy, rap star, stun nigga? Why are we living up to that?
Because that's easy.
Okay.
That takes no effort.
And females accept dudes like
Right,
that. And they go after the dudes like that more so the dudes in this educated.
We were in high school.
But I can see the majority of young black white folk I see are not like that.
Hold on.
Hold on, Marco first.
See, y'all can't let a couple of bad apples fall.
Say it, man.
But
Say
that's
it,
the whole
man.
thing with
Say
this
it, man.
stereotype of guys looking for jobs. Yeah, you got some guys looking for jobs. You got some guys claiming looking for jobs. You got to know the difference. You know what I mean? You judge a person by their individuality, not
Amen.
just a stereotype of class of black men. They do this. When you look at it like, you got some guys you know sit on the couch and play the game all day. You don't see an application. So you know he didn't go look. But if you got a guy, let me use your car to go here. I'm finna go check on this. You got jobs calling here. Oh, let me call this job back. That's different from a guy that just saying he looked for a job.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.